I'm just starting off, so
Nah, you're good.
working with what we have. Okay.
You know, that's life, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to Roxana earlier today, and she was like, I'm glad that you're finally interviewing someone who's not like family. And I was like, I know, right? That's so cool.
Hey, man, that's what's up. We all started at some place.
Okay, so hello and welcome to another episode of Married.Mommy.Maestra. Oh, by the way, we're English and Spanish.
Okay.
Ok, bienvenidos a otro capítulo de Married.Mommy.Maestra. Hoy estoy aquí con el dueño de Little Pot. So.
Sí, hola, mucho gusto, mundo bello. My name is Oscar, y sí, es una bendición estar aquí contigo hoy, con ustedes.
So, where would you like to start?
If you want, I can tell you a little bit about just me, right? So, I'm originally from Houston, and I smile now just for the journey, but I was raised in Greens Point, or the north side of Houston, if you're from here. And it was a humbling beginning. My mom, due to just life, my mom was a single mom. Not that my dad left or anything. He left us in a different way. And when my mom stepped up, I got to see, like most Latinos, we got to see our parents just no hesitation, no excuses, just go get it done.
Yeah.
Si se puede, familia, si se puede. I got to see that firsthand. And then I got to an age where it was time for me to help, right? So I tried to do everything that I could in my power to do that. And I have two beautiful sisters. They're both younger. And with my mom, I've been blessed to be surrounded by beautiful Latin women that it paved the way. It tells you like, hey man, like if you want to get anything done, check these beautiful examples, right? And now you have to be an example. So a veces la vida nos pone en situaciones donde no entendemos por qué pasa lo que pasa y por qué no las cosas no deben de funcionar, pero solo Dios sabe por qué. And that was actually my first tattoo, right over my heart. It says solo Dios sabe por qué.
Oh, okay.
And it was a reminder. Now it's a funny thing with my family, but it used to remind me every single day, you know, like if things don't match up or they don't add up the way you think, or they're not in essence where you would want them to be, it's okay, man. It's not for you to decide yet. It's just part of the ride. We were kind of talking about this earlier. You do what's best for you as opposed to worrying and stressing about the things you can't.
Yeah.
And I know that's a lot easier said than done, right?
For
right,
sure.
yeah. But I'm now learning a beautiful lesson in life that enjoy the ride, you know, todo su tiempo. Y a veces uno mismo se oye diciendo el chiste de, oh no, cuando Dios quiera. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, bro. Like, well, I've been waiting for a while now. Pero llegan esos momentos en la vida donde de repente dices, wow, por eso me hiciste hacer lo que pasó, por eso me hiciste, por ese tanto dolor. You know, like you fast forward through all like the growing up, being from here, and then you go to where I got blessed and was now legal, right? And when that happened, bro, like to all the people, all the Latinos, I get it, you know, that's like that's a big part of life where we just kind of don't even know what to do, right?
Yeah.
I came to this country at 8 years old, so a lot of times growing up, I used to be mad. I used to be mad that my whole life everyone told me you can't do that. You know what I mean? It wasn't because I wasn't smart. It wasn't because I couldn't be athletic. It wasn't because, bro, anything. Like the only reason is that you just can't. There's a 9 magical number that dictates.
Yeah.
And to me, my whole life, that's pissed me off in a great way. I mean, in a productive way at times. I am a passionate guy, so a veces me vale madre, les digo como quieran, ¿verdad? Pero I'm learning que ahora como padre no me beneficia hacer así. Entonces trato de ver la vida en un modo de que si Dios me dio otro día de vivir y otra oportunidad en la vida como esta, lo que podemos hacer es hacerlo bien. We could do good by every day. You know, as easy it is to do some shitty things, it's very easy to do the good things.
Yeah.
It's just really up to you.
It's just a choice.
Yeah, and you know, like I get it, man. Like I am human. I had my own faults. I've had my own lessons, hard lessons. You know, and ultimately, you know, I think that it's part of shaping you. Yeah. I took a very beautiful leap of faith when the day I became legal. Like I said, the day that I was making my mom and my family proud. I had a good job. I had an opportunity to be a field engineer for Henson Phillips, who, by the way, I snuck into to get the interview. Like I wasn't even qualified.
Oh wow.
All I knew is I was legal. That's it. And to me, I'm like, bro,
I can do whatever.
I could do anything. I could soar the world. You know, and I did. I'm a very firm believer that you are your biggest influence or your biggest enemy.
Yeah.
And if we talk about choices, pick you, bro, or bro, pick you. You know, like this is for you, and then for whatever circle of people that you want to like do good by, right? Like your beautiful family. You know, there's people that depend on what you are motivated to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get it. It's frustrating. It's like, fuck, why? Yeah, but like I said, it's easier said than done. And to me, patience is a beautiful lesson that will never stop. I thought I had it, and then guess what, man? I became a dad. So like now I'm like, bro, that's patience on a whole nother level. But you know, when back to the journey. So whenever I
became legal.
Yeah, I became legal, got my first little, legit internship opportunity. I nailed the interview. They offered me the job, paid for my college that I was going to.
Oh, wow.
And I bragged, right? I told my mom, I told my sisters, I was like, hey, I told my best friend, who I call my cousin, but we were living together, and I told him, I was like, damn, bro, like, this is it, you know? And he's like, yeah, man, like, you're making 6 figures, bro. You're gonna pay for your school, you got a company truck. You're barely 22 and you got all this, no kids, you're married, right? And I'm like, yeah. God works in a mysterious way. That same time, to me it was the same day, right? But it could have been a week, it could have been a little month. But within that same beautiful time, CNN came on and was like, breaking news, first legal state in the U.S. to go legal with marijuana. I was like, what? I still remember my cousin, or Rick, he goes, damn, bro, they're about to get it. And that shit, like, it just pissed me off. I was like, nothing to him. I love him. He's my ride or die, bro. Like, that's like my little adopted brother in life. He's my rational person in my younger self. Like, I was very, like, fuck it kind of mindset.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not who you need around sometimes, right? And my best friend will always reel me in, like, hold up, bro, there's a lot more to that. You don't live in Colorado, you've never been to Colorado. Do you know if you can even do that? And I was like, in my mind again, I don't give a shit, bro. Like, I can play the game now, right? And if I can play, fuck, bro, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna try. Why not? But until my whole life I can't. And now you can.
You can.
Right? Some people take for granted driving. Like buying a beer legally. That's wild to some people to hear. They're like, what you mean you can't go buy a beer?
Just go to the gas station.
Yeah, you can't go to Spags. I'm like, no, bro, I can't. You know what I mean? When I was younger, I can't tell you countless times where I was embarrassed just because of the fact that I couldn't take a girl on a date because I knew that if they carded at that place, I couldn't provide. I couldn't do anything. I can do a normal thing growing up. And now, it's the most unnormal opportunity. Come to Colorado and sell weed legally. To anyone in our demographic, bro, you must be high, right? I'm like, that's moteado, bro. You better put that little pot back, you know? Now, it just wouldn't go. Sometimes our passion and our true purpose of what we think doesn't align with the opportunity that God tells you to follow.
Yeah.
There's things which I can you know, for you beautiful people that followed you throughout your journey of your podcast, remember the first video.
Yeah. First video, I literally was just sitting in my room in front of, I have a little desk right next to my bed. My bed is like in the background. I'm wearing these like big headphones, just talking, and literally just talking about myself.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, so I'm depressed, and here's my story. And it just gained traction and went from there.
And now you can't live without it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's part of your day.
Yeah.
Like it's not, if someone were to tell you right now, like, hey, don't worry about it, you would get insulted, right? Like, hold up, man.
I took 1 week off, and my following dipped so hard. I was like, yeah, no, I can't. I have to keep doing this, and I enjoy doing it. So why wouldn't I?
Right. And see, that's the main message, right? Like everyone gets that opportunity. Sometimes it comes in the darkest times. Sometimes it happens where you feel kicked. You feel like, why? Right? And then out of nowhere, this beautiful miracle God just gave you. And we, at most times, are scared to do it. Yeah. Right? I'm scared every day, man. I'm scared every day. I think the life of an entrepreneur is fucking scary. Like, I have a beautiful wife, and I have a 3-year-old and another one on the way, who all depend on me. Yeah. Right? On top of that, we have employees now. They depend on me. When it comes to like what we do and what we do, there's always now a question of why are you doing that? And it's hard to manage sometimes, right? Sometimes you wonder like, okay, well, maybe I should just focus on the big fish and just, I can't do the little ones because they don't feed me, right? And my family. In my experience, every opportunity has a beautiful, beautiful way of seeing how it can flourish back. Yeah. Right? Yesterday, I was late. I was hella late. I walked in there, bro, like, why am I here? I'm next to a smoke shop who I compete with all of them. Yeah. You know what I mean? And we, when we moved, so now that we're back home, I'm understanding that I've grown, right? So, that way you guys tie in and know that we kind of have a little bit of already preset notion of my past, but for you guys out there, whenever I call it a beautiful kick in the ass by God that said, hey, there's a beautiful quote that says, I had to make you uncomfortable in order to move. I take those quotes to heart. Yeah. You know, Dios me dijo ese día, pues si quieres, ahí está. There's no excuses now, right? And I did. I quit my job. I dropped out of my internship. I dropped out of school. I cleared out whatever little savings I had. I sold all my stuff and packed my truck. I told all my loved ones bye. I think at that time I was with someone who I told like, hey, this is it, you know. And everyone called me crazy. Everyone was like, what are you moving to Colorado for? And you know what's crazy, man? Like now looking at it, I've always been a private man prior to coming back. Right? Yeah. Growing up, it's embedded in us. Mejor en la casa no digas nada, no les digas a nadie, no, right? Sí. Y cuando crecí, así estoy. No le digo a nadie nada. No, which is crazy to hear at a podcast. You know what I mean? But growing up, I'm very private. I don't think that you should know why. Like this, just let it be on its own. I don't have to be, you know, and.
¿Y qué va a decir la gente?
Sí, no, hombre, nada es bueno. Todos tienen su opinión y nada es la que quieres oír, y la que sí quieres oír es de gente que dices, no, pues para que quiere algo, ¿verdad? Y entonces lo que yo creo que estoy ahorita aprendiendo es de que es importante saber a quién oír y aunque se oiga extraño, yo me hablo a mí conmigo y con Dios el diario, ¿verdad? Hey, Diosito, hoy échame la mano, ¿qué hago? Ya sabes dónde estoy, ya sabes qué necesito, ya sabes qué situación ahorita viene. Y por favor, nomás te pido que me des la licencia y la habilidad de llegar otro día, otra oportunidad. Yeah. ¿Verdad? Y de ahí, let's go. There's no reason after that, bro. Like, shit, like, let's go. You already talked to the man. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, bro, I look at life in a very simple way now, and it's just because of the fact that the day I quit and told everyone that I dearly love bye, and then I drove 18 hours sober, like that, just driving, like, hey, okay, and it started like hour 1, fuck man, I was blaring my music, I'm like, I'm free, aquí vengo. Hour 5, I was like, fuck, bro,
I'm really doing this.
I'm really doing this. Like, there's no going back now, you know. And here's another cool quote: if you're gonna go all in, burn the boats. Just no reserve. There's no going back now, you know. And I believed in myself, and I believe in the faith that I carry. So I did. I kept driving. 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 And then I hit Colorado. When I hit Colorado, I really got fucking hit in the, I got really got hit, bro. Like, oh my God, God was like, órale, cabrón, aquí, órale, you're gonna grow no matter what. You know, it's to my knowledge, when I got to Colorado, I didn't realize that the educational like average there is a bachelor's degree. That's a normal state educational basis is bachelor's. You compare that to Houston, that's not the same, right? And I love my city. That's why I came back, to influence, to grow, to plant seeds in the demographics that I was raised in, and to openly show people education is key. And I don't mean education in the sense of traditional education. I mean education in the sense of self-awareness, self-influence, self-education. You know, we're growing up right now in an age where you have the liberty and freedom to Google or YouTube anything. So if you're out there Googling and YouTubing how to cut your toenails, great, bro. Like that. At the same time, you could have been YouTubing or Googling how to get out of debt, how to get out of this, how to do this, how to do that, something to propel yourself forward, right? But again, we fall back on choices and what we decide to value for us. I think sometimes it's a lack of purpose or a lack of ambition or a lack of like
focus.
Yeah, you know, confidence too. I think sometimes people, they look in the mirror and they're like, okay, well, this sounds great. I fucking watched Oscar. I watched, you know, the podcast, and now I'm thinking, well, shit, how am I gonna do that?
Yeah.
Right? We all go through that. We all go through that. That's not normal. I mean, like, it's not normal for you to just sit there and be like, all right, I figured everything out, and you make it. That shit is unheard of. I've never met a successful person or a rich person or what I would call a very, I met some beautiful mentors in Colorado, and not one person said they had it easy.
Yeah.
You know, there's the journey for me, really when I got to Colorado, I lived in motels, I lived in my truck, I was bouncing around couches, I was making friends just so I can sleep sometimes. And the whole time, I think I was telling my family, like, hey man, don't sweat it. I got it.
Estoy bien.
Estoy bien. Puro family view. I would go to the park and never, you know, like just take random selfies to show my family, don't worry about it. But deep down, I was terrified. Every day I was like, no, you know the craziest thing is, imagine putting yourself in a situation willingly donde tú sabes que a nadie le importas. No hay nadie que en realidad can give a fuck. Like not one person. And God reminded me the day that I was living in Denver for I think 3 to 4 months, brand new. I finally kind of got in a situation where I was having a good job. Eso sí, raza, de que podemos trabajar. Yo me levantaba desde el sol, de cuando el sol salía hasta que la luna decía que ya no podía, trabajaba todo el día. De todo lo que ganaba me lo ponía en mis ahorros y ahí chingándole poco a poco andaba, ¿verdad? Y un día pude ya, I got my first apartment. Y me río because Raza, I thought I was like El Chapo, like for real. I was like, I lived on I think I lived on the 13th floor of a high-rise building in downtown.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I felt like legit. I went from sleeping in motels in my truck to like putting all my effort working for 4 months nonstop, no distractions, no family. Like, think about like if you were to wake up and go to work for 13 hours a day for 4 months and you have no money, no reason to spend money.
Yeah.
That adds up.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time I learned, like, hey, okay, cool, bro. You can't be living in motels all your life. You can't be living in your truck, right? Like, that to me was the worst feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you have to you just lock yourself in. Like, that's crazy to live.
Scary.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And when I got blessed to get my little apartment, I went off of the view. I was like, coming from Greenspoint, I figured, like, bro, anywhere you put me, I'm straight. And I got to this apartment building. I got my little apartment. Todo life to me was finally getting good. I worked in the industry that I went there for. I was working in the agricultural phase of marijuana. So what I did then is I helped with the cloning, the distribution, and the agricultural process of cómo se crece esa bella planta.
Mm-hmm.
Y cuando llegué, un día me levanté normal, me levantaba como a las 3:30 de la mañana para llegar a la warehouse by 4:30.
Mm-hmm.
En Colorado hay nieve. En Houston, no.
No.
En México, no. Desde que yo sepa, en Morelia, Michoacán, ahí no hay nieve. Era de que yo sé, a lo mejor sí, pero pues me fui cuando tenía 8 años.
Yeah.
Y en Houston, no, ahí, bro, I've never seen snow in my life. So one day, I wake up, and there's 3 or 4 inches of snow outside. I was like, oh shit, man, no work today. And my boss was like, nah, bro, like, this is normal.
Yeah.
I was like, what? He's like, yeah, get to work. So I was like, okay. So I get up, I go to work. I'm like, bro, it is insane, you know? A week after that, life's beautiful, telling my family everything. Same route, right? And I go down this way. And then imagine Westheimer on an empty day, right?
Okay.
By the Galleria. There's 4 lanes on each side. There's a median, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of being flat, it's like this. I'm coming down this way, and I see this little car that way, and for whatever reason, this lady decided to do a head-on collision with me. So she drove that way and went under my truck at full force. I had no one to call. Right? They're dragging my truck up. People are telling me that this lady might not live.
Mm-hmm.
The cops come. I'm still in shock, like, man, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what to do. I mean, if you get in an accident today, you would call someone.
Yeah.
Right?
I got in an accident like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, bro, chill.
I was like, hey, husband, they hit me.
Yeah, someone. I mean, you called someone though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Eliminate that. You can't call anyone. So the cops come, and I'm just sitting there like, okay, there's no one to call. So I just sat there. I'm watching my truck go. And the cop comes up to me and he goes, hey man, are you okay? I was like, yeah. He goes, your thumb looks weird. So this thumb was popped out of socket like that. Oh my goodness. And I was still in shock that I just popped it back in. And I'm like, nah, I'll be all right, man. I was like, I'm bruised up. And he goes, yeah. He goes, what's your name? I'm like, Oscar, Serving. And then he's like, where do you live? And I looked at him and I go, I really don't know. I was like, it's not the accident. I just don't know where I live. I can tell you how to get there. I can tell you if I would just walk that way. And he looks at me, and I shit you not, he goes, hey man, I'll take you home. And I looked at him, being from Greenspoint, I would never thought a cop was just gonna ask me to just help. Yeah, I got you. Bro, what? I was like, to HPD, I'm not judging anyone or cops in general. There's good and bad people in every source in every industry. I think that's just part of the world. We have good and bad, right? And this is the first beautiful cop who taught me a lesson that not all of them are the same, right? So I'm sitting in shock. I'm looking at this cop, and he's like, white guy, preppy, everything that I'm like, bro, what the fuck? And that's the cop, bro. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, bro. Okay, cool. So I get up, and I go to open the back door, and he looks at me and he goes, hey, it's okay. You didn't do anything wrong. You can ride in the front seat.
Oh, wow.
Right. Right. Like, I tell that story to like other events that we've been at, and no one reacts, right? And you tell a Latina who, like, clearly we've been through some shit, you're like,
what?
What? Like, the fuck? Yeah, exactly. I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, man, like, you're good. I was like, okay. So I get in the front seat. I shit you not, this is where, like, now I use this as an empowerment thing.
Mm-hmm.
When you're raised in an environment, and then that puts you in a situation where you need to react, your instincts kick in, right?
Yeah.
I sat in the front seat, and I see the officer, and I see a double barrel shotgun right here. And I'm like, damn, bro, like, you really trust me.
Oh my God.
Like, that's what I feel, like,
Yeah.
I just got in an accident, all this other stuff.
You don't know me.
Right. I'm thinking, like, this would never happen in Houston. Ever. Like, I would never be, like, to a cop and be like, with a loaded double barrel, like, hey, man, just hop on in. Like, that would not exist. You know what I mean? And I don't think the people that now I'm back home with, when I tell those stories, people are like, stay away. They let you next to them. I'm like, bro, I'm telling you, I was just this shocked, right? So I'm sitting there, and he looks at me. He's looking at my mannerisms. He's looking at cómo me veo, qué me estoy portando. And I do notice that like, once we both got in and we're driving, he's like, hey, so where do you live? I was like, look, man, just keep going straight. At the third light, hang a left, and then right in there, just hang a right. He's like, okay. So he's just talking to me, and I start laughing. When I get nervous or when I get sometimes scared, I'll laugh.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my thing. Like, okay, fuck it. Like, we're gonna figure this shit out, but like, I just rather go into it like that.
Yeah.
And I did. I laughed. I was like, I go, man, this is wild. He goes, you'll be all right. I go, yeah, no, it's not that. I'm not worried about the truck. I was like, it's crazy that you let me in the front. And he goes, where are you from? I go, Houston. He laughed, and he goes, yeah, well, you're not in Houston anymore. And see, every time prior to that man telling me that, I feel like that's been God telling me, hey, take a second and reevaluate your perception.
See where you are.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because prior to that, there's only been a handful of times in my life where people have said that, like, hey, this isn't Houston, or this isn't Greens Point, or this isn't the North Side. Like, people have told me that when I moved around, right? And I'm proud of where I'm from. I'm proud of where I was raised. This made me the man that I am today. Like, I don't have any, personally, I don't have any negative things to anyone anywhere. I think that everyone goes through their hurdles, y cuando se puede, se puede. Pero para mí, ese es mi hogar. ¿Verdad? Ahí te va. Entonces, we're doing my whole thing. I got in this car accident. You know, the cop drops me off, and he gave me his card. And I legit asked him why. I go, for what? He goes, look, I don't know if you're having a concussion, but when you go home, don't fall asleep. If tomorrow you feel a little weird, at least call me. I'll get you in the right, and then we'll get you a doctor. I was like, okay, yeah, like, what the fuck? Like, y'all do this shit? Like, okay. I go home. I worked in the marijuana industry, like I said, so I had, well, now I have también now, but it's been a blessing that weed is not like, it's always around.
Yeah.
And I got home, and I just started a mi familia y a todos los latinos que están ahí oyendo. Usé la medicina más orgánica en el mundo para el dolor que tenía. Comí gomitas, fumé, me puse pomada. Tenía two ribs. Apparently I had bruised them.
Okay.
And then my knee had popped out of socket. So like, when the adrenaline goes away, that's when your body's like, oh, okay, eso sí se dolió, ¿verdad? No tenía aseguranza. Creciendo como crecemos, ¿qué hacemos? Lo que sea, ¿verdad? Pero a chingarle mañana. Entonces.
Okay, wait, sorry. It only records up to 30 minutes, so I have to, like, restart it.
Oh, no, continue.
Okay. You can continue.
Okay, ahí va. No, entonces, cuando el día siguiente cuando en realidad todo empezó a pegar, right? Okay, this is what hurts. This is like no insurance coverage. To anyone moving out of state, get insurance in that state.
Yeah.
Texas was not trying to help me out. They were like, nah, bro, you left Texas. Que te vaya
Not my
bien.
problem.
Yeah, que te vaya bien. And fuck, man. Diosito me ayudó con esa situación. They kept my truck for almost 6 months. And for 6 months, fíjate, en 6 meses tuve que aprender otra vez en mi vida cómo confiar el metro system.
Okay, yeah.
Like growing up, bro, that was my cat. That's my Uber. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, where you want me to go? I got you. That bus pass everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
When I got my first car, I was like, thank God, you know. And then I feel like sometimes we all go through this. God blesses us, and we tend to forget that is the blessing you once hoped for, right?
Yeah.
So like, I love quotes. So here's another one that says, "Don't forget that what you're complaining about today is what you prayed about yesterday."
Okay.
Like, cause like, so I use that to heart. Sometimes I used to pray when I was younger, like,
Mm-hmm.
man, God, please, let me just get a car. Then I got a car. And then 3-4 years later, that piece of shit was never working. And I was like, that chingadera, you know? But if I didn't have that chingadera, I'd be still riding a bus.
Yeah.
Right? We need to remember that. We need to remember, like, hoy, I don't know about you, but this beautiful countertop, right? Let's just say that one day you're like, I wish it was more white and bigger, and I wish this, I wish that. Well, let's just say that one day they take your house away,
Mm-hmm.
and you move into an apartment, and all you can afford now is laminate. You're gonna wish that this
I
one,
have that countertop back.
right? Exactly. So with that same mindset, Rasa, I think that sometimes it's important for us, all of us, to remember. You got to where you got by some force of like hard work. And now that you're here, don't take it for granted.
Mm-hmm.
Like keep moving forward and always be grateful for what you have, man. You know? I think one of the coolest things that Colorado taught me is the day that I lost my truck. Or, you know, I had to ride the bus, and it's not like just here where you just walk. Mm-hmm. It's fucking hot, yeah. Like, you know, my church is like, your shoes don't melt on a hot day, yeah? In Denver, you go through hills,
Mm-hmm.
you go through snow, you go through hot too, and you're a mile above sea level, whereas right now we're at sea level. So like, it's just a different climate, you know? I remember like, I used to like walk everywhere, and people would tell me like, damn, Oscar, bro, I can give you a ride. And I would tell them like, nah, it's okay, man, I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't we all like that? When people ask you for help, I mean, when people see you struggling, and they go, "Hey, bro, I got you." El instinct is que, nah, bro, I don't need it.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, and then what happens? We prolong the help that we did need, right?
Yeah.
I think in Colorado there were so many different people that ni uno era hispano, right? By the way, ninguna amistad que tuve en Denver era hispana. Y no sé por qué. La gente que creía que eran hispanos turned out not to be, bro. Mm-hmm. They're like, hell no, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Tripas? What the fuck are those? And I'll be like, what? Ain't your last name like Hernandez or some shit? And they'd be like, yeah, bro, no. And like, I remember the first time that I had the privilege, now fíjate, y raza, les digo con amor y cariño, a veces las situaciones donde nos sentimos judged, ¿verdad? Juzgados, nos duelen, ¿verdad? Somos una cultura que dice no a nosotros, ¿verdad? Nos entendemos. Pero raza, a veces creo que también tenemos que entender que nosotros así seamos con otros también. Mm-hmm. Y no es bueno. Si no le gusta a alguien que ustedes les digan ese pinche mexicano, tatuado, ¿verdad? Mafoso. Soy el hijo de alguien, ¿verdad? Y todos nosotros tenemos la habilidad o le pido a Dios que todos tengamos una madre y un padre o alguien que queremos y que digamos, hey, esa persona no hables así, ¿verdad? Uh-huh. Quiere hacer lo mismo instinctively rather than not. So what I mean by that is that cuando llegué a Denver, una de mis primeras bellas amistades era un tranny. For real, I can't make this shit. Era un tranny, era una lesbiana y era todos eran de diferentes ethnicities, ¿verdad? Y se los digo así raw, right? Because of the fact that our culture sometimes shies away from accepting that those are beautiful people.
Yeah.
They're just different than us, right? But we're different to
And
them.
then.
And when you change your perspective, you can really learn. God put me in those situations daily for me to learn. I was like, damn, bro. Like one time I was like kicking it with them. And they thought I was just high, right? They're like, no, I'm rested in my seat, zoned out, H-Town, buzz. But I was just sitting there and I was just thinking to myself, I don't think one person at home would believe me if I told them where I was at right now. Like if I legit just explained what I was doing, like I think they would all be like, stay away. Like, what do you, como que estás ahí? ¿Qué haces ahí? ¿Qué te van a hacer? ¿Por qué estás ahí? Hey, y yo, like, these were the most genuine, beautiful, like truly great people. Like, they're still friends to this day, you know, and they taught me a lot. I learned a lot from all of them, and I still continue to apply that same like method of awareness every day now. So through all that time, trabajé in Denver. He said a lot of really cool things that I'm privileged to say. Right, I worked in distribution, I worked in wholesaling, I worked in every aspect, retail, every aspect of the cannabis industry professionally. I got to work. The day that I became a father is the day that my life changed. That day, I couldn't leave anymore. Like I can't. There's no reason. Like today, you're blessed. You have your own little unit. I don't think there's anything in the world that I can say to you to validate that over them. Right.
Right.
Welcome to parenthood. That's unconditional love, right?
Yeah.
You just can't. Now it just won't happen. That lesson came when my little boy, Junior, came to this world, and he's 3 now. I have a beautiful wife who has taught me that life is more about what you decide to do for your tribe than what you perceive for the world.
Yeah.
Right. So I've been blessed to do some cool things, but at the same time, I've been tested to understand that we have to have faith. Todo lo que Dios me dio, me lo quitó, todo, ¿verdad? Y lo ha perdido todo. Tuve muchísimas cosas que podía decir, eso es lo que es fama, eso es lo que es éxito, ¿verdad? Eso es lo que es dinero, eso es poder. Y en ese tiempo me porté de esa manera. Regresé, creo que vine una vez y estaba flaco. Y me comporté grosero, andaba, hey, era lo que quieran, cash, all this, hey, what's up? Flexing, the day that before my son got here, in preparation of my son, so when we found out that my wife was pregnant, that's when life to me, I was losing grip of life, right? I tried to take away from these bad habits and these bad tendencies that are easily there. I tried to just snip them and then they would keep coming back, and I didn't understand how to just say no.
Yeah.
Right, like I kept falling into all these little things, and I was like, "Fuck, bro, I just need to stop." And rather than managing it or asking for help or being like someone guide me, talking to God, no, man. I thought I had the plan. Yeah. And then God stepped in and took away everything. My new truck, everything. Like it took. Oh man, it's crazy how 1 year I went from making more money that I can spend to the next year making enough money to tell my wife, okay, you can eat. And like that's a huge change to tell someone who you believe that believed you that you got it, right? Like, hey, you say you got it, I'm gonna go in this plan on earth with you, and then you don't got it.
Yeah.
That's just hard, you know. And I had to buckle up again, and I had to ahora la chingarle otra vez. And I did. I worked so many jobs that the IRS audited me to make sure I wasn't doing fraud. Yeah, that's crazy, you know. And I was like, no, I was like, it's crazy.
I'm just trying to live.
Yeah, for real, bro, for real. And there's to everyone watching and to what we're talking about today. Excuses are only valid to yourself. No one else gives a shit.
Yeah.
Like if you tell yourself, nah, no puedo porque me duele el pie. Okay, bro, that's good for you. You tell that for anyone else, we don't really give a fuck. You know what I mean? And sometimes that might be hard to hear, but I think that's real good advice. You know, like if you really want to get something done, hey, fuck the pain, bro. That's gonna come.
Yeah.
You know, I read another cool quote that said that the life of an entrepreneur is choosing to live in chaos every day. Every day. That's fuck, right? And I'm like, okay, so si así le vamos a hacer, pues que darle gas, you know. And after God took everything away from me, I did everything that I could at that time to just get it back. I didn't care now. I was like, I'll value it. Diosito, por favor, this time. You start, you know, asking for favors and shit. Like, we all been there. Like, hey, please. And I remember this one time, man. I worked for a Fortune 500 company again. I got another corporate job. My little boy was born, and I did the safety. I went and got a corporate job with benefits, you know, 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. The company car.
The regular stuff.
Yeah, the company car. I don't discredit the beautiful people I met when that part of my life took place. What I do value the most is the amount of growth that they taught me. Mm-hmm. See, what those people didn't understand, not that they should, right, is that I was battling a very big demon inside. You give someone so much freedom and then you rip it away, that will do something to you. Yeah. You feel like you're in a cage again. Mm-hmm. You feel like someone just took life away from you. And then you're surrounding yourself by people that not to anything against them, but they're comfortable. Mm-hmm. This is normal for them. They're waking out while you're waking out. They're like, este cabrón, no quiere trabajar. And I'm like, no, bro, it ain't that. I can work my ass off. I don't believe in this. You know, and in my whole life of experience, if you could feel my passion through this channel, I want to make something clear. Nothing's been handed to me in life. Yeah. And the people that have helped me achieve things that I couldn't achieve on my own, I will always be grateful for them. But it was up to me every day to get up and do that. You can tell someone today, hey, I'll be here. But if I don't show up, you can't pack up. Right. You can't just be like, no, pues no se hizo, fuck it. Another day. Like, no, bro, you need to do something. Mm-hmm. You need to still get shit going.
Figure it out.
You need to be like, hey, este cabrón bailed on me, but guess what? Today we're going to talk about being on time. Today we're going to talk about showing up. You know what I'm saying? This is an opportunity for you to adjust, you know? And some of us don't see that. Mm-hmm. Some of us, I myself included, have learned through my business, si quieres, dale. Si no, don't bitch, bro. Don't complain. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm like, fuck, bro. Like, I talk to myself a lot, even to the point that my wife at one time thought I was like, hey, you all right? Like, straight up, you know? And like, bro, my wife has patience of gold with me. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sure your husband sometimes looks at you like, fuck, calm down.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
You know, like, hey, we'll be all right, podcast. You know, he'll probably, like, but you look at it like, you don't get it. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to take the time to sit here and tell you, oh, my crazy.
And explain it.
Yeah, and like, it's not his dream, right? Mm-hmm. That's what we all need to understand. Just because the people you love respect, admire, whatever you want to bubble it at, and they don't agree with you, that's okay. It's not their dream.
Yeah.
You know, when they wake up and they're like, hey, today I can't wait to paint houses, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? Why? It's hot. You don't know if that dude has a multi-million-dollar business and every time he paints a roll, it's literally money.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone has a different thing. I met a person in Denver that they came from a lot of money. And like, to me, I was like, fuck, bro, let me have some.
Yeah.
You don't give a shit about it, I'll take it, you know? And he to me, he was a very inspirational man to me, even though I don't think he realized it, right? So his name is Jim, and he flips skyscrapers.
Okay.
Yeah, right? Like, fuck, okay. I remember one of the coolest memories that I have of him is, and the reason why, I'll tell you why, but I'll tell you the memory first. So we were sitting, I had a little lunch meeting with him, and I had asked him, I was like, I really respect you. I admire the mind that you have. You just give me advice, man. I'll take you out to lunch and I'll just ask you questions and you just guide me. He's like, okay, cool, man. He took every lunch meeting with me, everyone. And at one of these meetings, I'm kind of bragging to him, right? Like, oh, I got this little, like, hey, you know, I got this little thing going. I'll pay for your lunch. And he looks at me and goes, yeah, give me a second. I'm gonna take this quick call. I'm like, okay. That call probably took 2 minutes tops. Gets off the phone. And he goes, all right, that's Crystal, what's up, man? What are you going through? And I was like, hey, just curious, Jim, like, what was that? He goes, oh, that? Just make a quick 300,000.
Oh.
I was like, wait, what? How? And he goes, I flew skyscrapers. And based on my return and what I just did, that's 300,000 in my bank. And I was like, bro, what now, right?
Yeah.
And I remember asking him, like, how do I get there? Jim taught me that it's not what you have, it's not what you show people. I met Jim, I used to sell drugs to him, I'm not telling you his last name, but I used to sell drugs to him, and every time I sold to him, he would ask me questions. Like, how's your day? I'm like, oh man, it's good, man. And clearly I like to talk, right? So in Denver, I would tell my story to everybody. Anyone that would listen, I would tell them my story, in hopes that that person would find me or something in me and like guide me.
Yeah.
That word, clearly, thank you everyone that gave me advice. Jim goes, you know, he goes, sometimes you need to prioritize what's important for you and not everybody else.
Yeah.
You can take care of people when you can take care of yourself. And I was like, fuck. I was like, it's okay. It's part of life. We're live.
Yeah, we got the babies here.
Yes. Part of life, man. Part of life. I think if stress doesn't give you some kind of motivation to do something, then that's why you're not really paying attention to it, right? I have a 3-year-old, trust me. So yeah. There's been voice meetings where he just pops in, and I'm like, bro, this is important. You know what I mean?
I'm doing business.
Yeah, but it's cool, man. Like, it's cool. So Jim taught me all that, and after that, I looked at money differently. You know, it's not what we look at it. It's a tool, and that tool, like anything else, you needed to do certain things, right?
Yeah.
You need to know how to manage the tool, because if not, it doesn't matter what you do. You know, you can't screw in a screw with like pliers or some shit. Like, you need the right screwdriver to get that shit done, right? So same thing applies with life. You know, like whatever it is that you're battling, figure out what tool you need to get that done, and then get it done. You know, and to me, including me, I try my hardest to do that every day. You know, with my success rate, I mean, I think that's irrelevant, really. If you're going to ask someone that's in business, like, bro, I don't really care as long as I keep moving up. You know, like, I don't care how many times it takes. I don't care how many tries, attempts, how many creative ways I get there, but I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
And when I came back home, I moved back home when we started Little Pot. And this beautiful little pot has it has brought a lot of blessings to my life and the people that I love. It's given me an opportunity to fight for something that I believe. And for everyone watching, Little Pot to me is just that. It's just a little pot, and it'll chill you out. I had some before I came here. You know, it is just. I think that sometimes we all analyze life in a way where you wanna get so many things done, but you forget to enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, and now that I'm home. I'm running into people that I'm like, oh shit, bro, I haven't even seen you since I was a kid, or when I was in high school, or when I was in college. Like, we were just coming out, and I'm like, that's what's up, man. Like, that's when you start to notice, like, hey, whatever you did mattered. Like, all these people are coming out to like support you and try to be like, hey, si se puede, you know, like, ándale, no pares, síguele. Y luego llega el día bello donde now they expect it from you. Oye, noté que no hiciste un video hoy. No estás bien, ¿qué pasó? Right? O te ves como que no te peinaste. ¿Por qué saliste así? O cambia, ¿verdad? La atención cambia. Y ahí es donde en realidad es donde todo lo que vale la pena. Todos los esfuerzos que sufrimos, todo lo que batallamos, el estrés, es para llegar a un momento donde te vas a sentir cómoda, que tú lo que tienes ahora fue la sacrificación que llegaste a tener, y es importante llegar ahí. Órale, ¿qué más? Yeah. Pero ya, bueno, no. So, I'll ask you something, right?
Okay.
So, you know, we've done, markets really is our thing, like the community, reaching the community, reaching the fact that we all have more things in common than you think.
Yeah.
Right? Now that you're a podcaster, you know, what's your vision long term?
Oh my goodness, you know, my therapist asked me the same thing. Honestly, I just want to give people a voice. I feel like, especially in our community, we already talked about this, no se habla de nada, porque qué va a decir la gente.
Okay.
And going into it, and I'm going to get emotional because I'm emotional, going into it, I was like, no one's going to give a fuck about what I have to say, or no one's going to care. And one of my very first episodes, I talked about going through postpartum, and I had an uncle's sisters, like a relative, reach out to me, and she was like, listening to your episode like really helped, because I went through the same thing and I thought I was going through it alone. Like, uno no se da cuenta, like you were just saying, we all have more in common than we actually see. So, dándole la oportunidad a gente que diga su historia, help other people connect and realize, like, okay, we're all not.
We're not in it alone. Yeah. That's
the vision for the podcast.
Yeah. And how's it going?
It's going. I took, like I said earlier, a week off, and people were like, "Are you okay? Like, is everything okay?
Yeah.
Are you going back to that deep place, like dark place?"
Oh
no,
my God.
I'm fine. I promise. My kid has just got out of school, and so I wanted to just take advantage of, like, I just want to be with my kids for a little while. Yeah. But, you know, back to it. But it's nice being able to talk and giving other people the opportunity to do the same.
Yeah, well, that's cool, man. I'm glad that you invited us, and like, if we can help for anything, you guys too. You know, like, if there's anything out there that you sometimes feel that you're alone,
let me know, and I'll make a whole episode about it.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, kudos to you, man. I think that you're right. Like, in our culture, sometimes we're perceived as these very strong, hardworking people, and we are, Raza, we are. But it's also strong for you to acknowledge that you need help. It's also strong for you to say, hey, I don't understand, rather than getting mad, just ask. Ask for guidance. That I don't think there comes a time in our journey where you're supposed to know everything. I got to give you the little quick Father's Day thing.
Yes.
And I was very, very much under a little pot that day. I was so happy. I got to share my story along all you beautiful ladies, and I was pumped up, man.
Yeah.
And you had asked me what's one of the like the best memories that I have, right? And I went in on like this whole little silly thing. I didn't have trust to just tell you what's up, right?
Yeah.
But today, I'm very privileged to have come, man. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to talk. Cause you're right. Raza, for me, it's crazy that you won't. If I see you at a party, or I see you at a family gathering, or I see you somewhere where it's not business related, I'm very reserved. I'm very like, oh, okay, cool, I'll kick the shit with you, and like, we'll have a good time.
Yeah.
I'm a good fucking time. But I'm not gonna like just start telling you what's up like this, Now I'm becoming more of that, and it's cool to see that like. Not everyone really wants to get to hear your advice when they're going through a bad time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, people want other people to validate. Like, yeah, man, fuck that. They don't really call the guy that's gonna be like, well, bro, you sure que no la cagaste tú? Maybe you overreacted, or maybe you interpreted what they said wrong. No one wants to hear that. And I would encourage everyone to do that to yourself every day. When you wake up in the morning, look at yourself in the mirror before you start the day, and really it's like tell yourself what's up. Like, not in a mean way, like just tell yourself you woke up today. Let's go figure out why. Nothing's gonna happen that shouldn't, or like just chill out. And I know it's easy to say that.
Yeah.
But if you do something every single day, at some point it will become a habit, and I'm excited for all of you to see what's up.
And with that, I think that's a perfect way to close this off.
All right, man. Thank y'all so much again. Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much for the opportunity. To your whole audience, I do want to say that the coolest experience about today is that just like you let me share my story with you, I am honored and privileged to influence you guys in whatever comes from this. So, si se puede.
Si se puede. And marijuana is not the sin.
yeah, just a little pot. It's just a little pot.
But do you want to let people know where to find you?
Yeah. So if you guys have already noticed, our dispensary is a little bit different. We sincerely do care about our patients and our customers. Our followership, I think that is only based on just being sincere. We're excited to build our location in the museum district, which is going to be off of Richmond and Montrose. And then you can also find us online. You can also find us at our next social event, where we'll be promoting or highlighting the business through our first Houston's own mobile dispensary. And we're excited to give everyone their little pot needs. You can follow us on all social media platforms at Little Pot CBD. You can email the company directly at info@littlepotcbd. And for everyone out there, again, let's fucking get it.
Okay. All right. We'll see you guys next time. Well, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for listening. Bye. Stop recording. Okay. Oh my gosh.
All right.